At the back.
How do people learn, or how do people become metacognitive? Because, I mean, the concept of it almost seems so obvious. It's like, I should revise the things I don't know. It's like, well, duh.
This is one of the interesting things. How do you teach someone to metacognate? Because as soon as you tell them to start doing it, they're doing it not because they're metacognitive, they're doing it because they think they need to be metacognitive, and then it kind of is a forced thing rather than an automatic thing, and it's something that you have to manually kind of go, okay, right, now I need to metacognate about this, and now I need to do this, and it should be something that's quite difficult to teach. So, yeah. That good? You good?
What
about
things you think you know, but you don't actually know?
That's an interesting point, because within education, that especially is a problem. You think you know something, but ultimately you are wrong, and this is something that is ultimately up to you as a learner to double check that as you are learning, you double check, you go over everything, and it's something that is a main problem with it.
Don't always study things you don't know, just study everything just in case.
No, because when you're studying things, then you make sure that you've got them right, etc. And then as soon as you are, you've got your like 98% sure this is completely fine, you're 100% sure, then you can put that in the known pile. Basically, you can move it there, and then
if you started teaching this to children from a young age, could it stifle enjoyment if we're constantly trying to encourage and praise children for what they do? But if they start realizing that they really don't know stuff, would that stifle development?
But it's not about telling them off because they don't know something. It's more about, it's less about what they learn, it's more about how they learn it, because what you need is that ability for, because if you can teach children this at a very young age, it's incredibly useful. It will stay with them, as with anything you teach a child, for the rest of their life, or hopefully. So it's less about what you're teaching them and scolding them if they're wrong. It's more about being able to take a child and say, okay, you got this wrong, but did you know you were wrong when you put it down? I mean, measuring a child's confidence is an incredibly good way of doing this. I mean, when you ask them questions, ask them how confident, and it's a difficult thing to do with children, obviously, but there are ways around it. So you ask them, you're confident about this, and you can realize where they have a kind of a secure knowledge base and where they don't. So it's more focusing on how to teach and not what to teach, basically. And
is there sort of like any research over a prime age for sort of when the best of metacognition, like what sort of stage within education could you apply it? Would you be expecting sort of 5-year-olds to be?
Personally, I think it's personally, I think it's something that should definitely be taught before the end of primary school, because this will, as I just said, it will prepare you for the rest of your life. It will take you from primary school, secondary school, going through A levels. It will take you through education, higher education, anywhere. And even if you don't go through higher education, it's still a really useful tool to have in any trade, because it's a way of thinking. And so, whilst I haven't personally researched thoroughly in depth into metacognition within kind of primary education, I think it's something that should definitely be taught from a very young age.
One of the things we found this last year when we did this,
we
sampled 10% of the first-year students and found that they had absolutely no idea what they were going to do. They're simply guessing as to whether they got the right answer.
It's not happening in education now.
It's obviously not happening in education now.
How does this affect an individual's interpretation of the information being provided?
Because of critical thinking, it's actually it makes you much more aware that there are multiple sources of information, multiple different viewpoints. It will make you much more. What has been found is that it's kind of helps you never accept one viewpoint as ever being completely true. It's.
How do you add it to a pile?
Pardon?
How do you add it to one of the piles?
Add it.
One pile for things you know, one pile for things you don't.
Well, it's the same with the SATMEDs. You will take what you don't know as a kind of big pool of knowledge. This is what this is my deficit. This is what I do not know currently, and then you just go over it and over it, because you will know when you know something, and that's a thing that only metacognitive people can really do. And so that's why these skills are incredibly important, because once you can say, aha, I know this, okay, I know the answer to this, and you get it right, you can do that time after time after time, then you can put it straight over. And then
I think the point to make here is that actually being aware of what you know and what you don't know changes you somehow. Actually being able to think about what you know and what you don't know changes the way you think about information in a completely different way. And I think it's very closely linked to being an expert. Someone who's an expert at something has got to know what they know and what they don't know, or they wouldn't be an expert.
yeah, take another one.
Would you say that it could affect the education of people with intellectual disabilities?
It's an interesting, that was actually quite an interesting question because, in what sense do you mean it would just affect, it would...
Could you teach it to them, and would it help them understand what
This is an area of which I haven't researched. Metacognition and metacognitive studies have only really been happening in kind of 2000s plus. So
Well, an accurate measure of metacognitive awareness is fairly recent. Person who's charged time just said we're out.